Ah, yes, just like that. Finito. Done, finished, over is Backlash. Hard to believe, man. Blink of an eye. Snap of a finger, drop of a hat. Backlash is done. Now we get to the fun stuff, right? The end of the month. 3 weeks from... No. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday. The fun really begins. WWE's going over to Saudi Arabia. Good luck with a quick turnaround. Just 2 weeks from Saturday, and we have another premium live event, Night of Champions. Oh, starting tonight, we'll see what build we get. And then the day after the 27th of May, Saudi Arabia's Night of Champions, NXT's Battleground will go head-to-head with AEW's Double or Nothing. 3 pay-per-views back to back to back. And 2 of them are going head-to-head for brand supremacy on the night of the 28th of May. A big Memorial Day weekend, man. So Backlash is in the rear-view mirror. And now, it's the end of the month. This is where business is truly going to pick up. Who's going to bring the best card? AEW's Double or Nothing, NXT's Battleground, or WWE's Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia a day before? Big month coming up for WWE. In this amped up podcast, and we do have a packed podcast. We are going to go over all 12 of the participants in this mini tournament. I mean, this is what H claimed. We're going to have a tournament. BC cannot stand tournaments in wrestling. There's too many of them. And with scripted, predetermined combat, do we really want to go through months of a pre-planned winner? It just seems like lazy booking. These days we get more tournaments. Every which way you turn, there's a new tournament for something stupid. Either it's for a title, or it's for a number one contendership, or it's for a king or a queen, or it's for some type of memorial for somebody. Much respect to whoever that body is. But it's just for everything, man. Relax on the tournaments. They're starting to not feel special, and they haven't for years. To claim best in the world. You remember that one? Let's claim who the best in the world is. Fuck it. Let's have a tournament for it. But this is what we were told. There's going to be a tournament. It's supposed to be Raw exclusive because H said that Roman is going to take his title to wherever he gets drafted, which was the blue brand, and the other brand will battle for that title. And then all of a sudden, H contradicted himself, probably forgot he even said what he said just days before, and he ends up saying that, well, SmackDown can come and join in. And I love the people that are like, well, BC, it's not that complicated. SmackDown has been added, but if a SmackDown talent wins, then they'll just get drafted back to Raw. Do you even hear yourself talk? Do you even listen to yourself? This is so complicated and stupid. It shouldn't be this difficult. You just had a brand split. Everybody got drafted, right? And now all of a sudden, you're like, well, we're going to let everybody compete for the title. And if somebody on the blue brand wins, we'll just draft them back to Raw. Why should Raw get punished? You just said that wherever Roman is drafted, that's the title for that brand. Why the fuck would Raw have to, first of all, even compete with the other brand when they don't even have a world title right now? The other brand does, Roman. And on top of that, if somebody does win over there, then they get drafted back to Raw, so it makes things even more difficult for the red brand. How does this even make sense to you? How is this fair to the red brand? None of it makes sense. That's the problem, guys. It's not as simple as, well, if a blue brand guy wins, they'll go back to Raw. This is numbnuts there. This is Schnoz McGee. This is Pinocchio not thinking, right? And if this was Vince to tell him to do that, say that, orchestrate business this way, then this is where Schnoz McGee has to stand up and say, no way I'm going out there and saying this stupid shit. Anyway, guys, we're going to talk about it coming up in this podcast, 12 names. And BC is going to give you his exact, and I mean amplify thoughts on every one of these 12 names. We're also going to go over H. If you think that they're not watching ratings, listen to what H did. A fan posted something about ratings. Watch what H accidentally did and tried to correct, but it was already caught. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk an AEW Wrestler sending a zinger over to a WWE Star who is in a storyline with the AEW Star's girlfriend. So he sent a little bit of a message. Rhea Ripley chimes in. It's a fun little story I thought I'd add to the podcast. A lot to go over, guys. It's all coming up in this Amped Up podcast with BC for Monday, May the 8th, 2023. I say we waste no more time. Smash that up if you don't mind. Help out the algorithm on the way in. BC's going to get a big swig of his Dunkin' Extra Extra, and we'll come right on back, and we'll get amplified on today's podcast. Let's rock. Yeah, let's do this, man. Salute, my amplified unit. Packed show today. Amped up with BC for Monday, May the 8th. Big Monday Night Raw tonight, and I say that because it's not just a post-backlash show. I mean, guys, you literally only have... Right, the word literally is literally overused all the time, and usually where it's placed where it shouldn't be. This is literally 3 Monday Night Raws before the next premium live event. Do you guys realize 2 weeks from tonight is the go-home show to Night of Champions? You gotta pack this card up. You gotta pack this card up with championship matches we're gonna give a shit about. And you can't just rest on your laurels that there's a title on the line, and that's why we should care. Because in this company, titles are just not prestigious, right? I mean, unless you got Roman Reigns' championship for 87 years, okay. Gunther would be the closest for prestige, and they just switch brands on him. We'll just fucking throw you over this brand. We'll take the U.S. title, bring it over here. The Raw Women's Championship, Bianca, and her reign should be something special. And then they go and do something stupid like, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll draft you to SmackDown. We'll draft Rhea, the SmackDown champion, to Raw, and we'll just have you swap the titles. How is that making your audience feel like you have an attachment to that title, like you have defended that championship with such honor, and that brand and that Raw branded title means so much to you, so much respect, so much blood, sweat, and tears went into defending that title, and you just trade it like it's a video game. You trade it like it's Halloween candy. This isn't a Snickers for a Three Musketeers. This is a title that you have defended month after month, week after week, show after show, town after town, and you're just like, okay, here it is. Give me the blue one. Let's see how this looks on me. Man, you think a title, it means something finally, and then they just make stupid decisions with them, and then the title reigns get stale because they don't know how to book individuals. That's what happens all the time with this company. So, point is, here you go, Night of Champions. You're going to have more on the line than just the title. I know it's only 3 weeks. 3 weeks. But you better start building. You better start have plans right now. In fact, it's early morning on a Monday of the filming of this podcast, the recording of this podcast. But I assure you, they better be in a boardroom meeting right now. Because if we're talking about this early morning, we care about it, we're amplified about it, we give a shit about it, then I'm hoping they do just as much. And here's a crazy concept, even more. What a crazy concept. The company care about their product more than the fans? I would hope so. But in this case, and usually is the case with WWE, common sense is not so common. So, Night of Champions, man. That's going to start us off on May 27th, 2 weeks from Saturday. And then a day later, Battleground with NXT taking on AEW's Double or Nothing, which, by the way, has sold roughly 60,000 tickets as of last check. Now, we don't know how accurate this is. I mean, that's a lot of tickets really quick. And if that's the case, applause over to Tony Khan. Now, does that translate to profit for your year, right? Because they're taking a hit in many other areas. So before everyone goes, well, finally, 2023, they're going to record a major profit. Not so fast. Tony has told you himself, many interviews, that currently AEW has not turned a profit yet, guys. They're literally even, and that's kind of normal in today's pro wrestling with brands. NXT has never turned a profit, for instance. Even with Triple H's Black and Gold, which was Dusty Rhodes's, by the way, and William Regal was doing so much work, way more behind the scenes than Schnoz McGee Pinocchio, I assure you. But H got the keys to the kingdom, and they still never turned a profit. Vince McMahon was actually losing money on that, guys. A lot of people don't realize that, and then they're like, why did Vince do what he did? Well, if you were starting to lose money and ratings, and your competition, Tony Khan, kicked your ass off of Wednesdays into Tuesdays, you're going to have to make changes. It's sad to say, but the Black and Gold brand, 3H's lost control. He no longer had the mojo. Nobody wants to admit that. They just want to remember the good years of Black and Gold. They don't want to remember that it was H that started to lose control of it big time. And that was before McMahon put a hand in the cookie jar. Guys forget, he started to lose the vehicle, and to the point where it just went off the road, man. And changes were made, but it all starts with not making a profit. And currently, Tony Khan still is not. Now, this is going to be a big W for Tony Khan. But unless every other metric and area amps up and ramps up going forward, 2023 will be another year that at the most they will break even. And that's being generous. Tony Khan will tell you the same thing, guys. I'm telling you nothing different than what he has said many times. And to his credit, Tony Khan, he is at least very, very honest when it comes to making a profit and not. And trust me, this dude loves to brag about success. So he'd be the first to tell you when he's making profits that are sustainable and pretty significant. So anyway, guys, that's the deal, man. Wembley Stadium is coming up. Double or Nothing is not Wembley Stadium, by the way. I hope I didn't mix those two. Double or Nothing is separate. Wembley Stadium is coming up. What is that? August 27th, I want to say. And then that's all in. And then All Out is a couple of days afterwards, I believe. So they're doing 2 pay-per-views in 1 week. That is not something that BC would ever do as a promoter. That's a little wild. I don't know what they're thinking, but AEW has already confirmed that, their legal department. We'll see. Anyway, guys, where do you want to start? Big thanks to everybody that tuned into yesterday's live stream. Backlash, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What a podcast that was, man. That was wild. It usually is. A BC podcast, a BC live stream, I should say, is usually the wildest stream you're going to get in this community. There's a little bit of a format, and we just get amplified and go wild the whole show. I mean, it's pretty much off the cusp, if you will. It's just it's how BC likes to be, man. Get the unit involved, have the real conversations, get to the actual truth, and sometimes to do that, you gotta go off the page, man. You can't just stick to what the notes say or the format that maybe you have loosely created. And boy, was that ever the case yesterday. The battery dies at the end of that stream because we went over 3 hours, and then the battery was like, dude, we can't go a fourth. You got to recharge. And so that was the roll-up, we called that. Was able to recharge a little bit to say thank you to all you guys, man. All the super chats, the new channel members, man. It was just, it was a fun 3.5 hours of the Backlash Good, the Bad, and the Ugly review. I want to thank you guys so much. Red Team, go! And of course, man, my gold team, my gold card members, my channel members. I cannot tell you how awesome it is to see those green names and that gold card, man. I know that is the front lines of the unit, and we don't take bullshit. And we stay amplified, and we fuck shit up. That is the mission statement. It's what we do. So I appreciate you guys, man. What a stream. Thousands of you guys have already caught it, and I know more of you guys will catch it over the next 24 hours. But thousands of you guys have already caught it. I believe we're on our way to like 900 on the ups. The better part of a 1,000. So just a very, very successful and kick-ass live stream. And a big part of that, major part of that, is you guys. So thank you for allowing BC to take a couple of minutes to say a big thank you for that successful stream yesterday on Backlash. Now, today's stories, where do you guys want us? You know what? Let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get to the big story, man. Let's talk about these 12 names that are going to be in this supposed tournament, but it's a it's 4 triple threat matches. The winners of each triple threat will take on each other. So, for instance, 2 triple threats tonight on Raw. Winners will take on each other later in the night, I believe. And then 2 triple threats on Friday. The winners will take on each other later in that night, I believe. And then those 2, the SmackDown winner and the Raw winner, will take on each other at Night of Champions and crown the new champion of the world. Now, these are the 12 names. Now, if you you hear BC say this a lot, right? This company is so erratic and lacks common sense and logic and does nothing that makes sense ever, it seems. That's what it seems like. And I always use the phrase, it's like they're throwing baloney at the wall of names, right? Like they just wrote a bunch of names on the wall and they're just throwing baloney at it, or fucking meat, and seeing where it sticks. And if a piece of meat sticks on a name, that's it. You throw another piece of meat and whatever name it lands on, that's a match. Right? Or they're pulling fucking names out of a hat or out of a fucking egg basket, right? They're pulling names out of a basket and they're just like, that's who's going to be in this tournament. That's who we're going to put in these series of triple threat matches. Listen to these names, guys. You ready? Let me get a swig, because you're going to get a kick out of this. I'm going to break it down. Now, first and foremost, Seth Rollins, right? Sethington. Okay, that's obvious. Sethington has more than, we all say the same thing. He more than has earned it, right? Not even deserves, more than has earned it. No question. But here's the thing if Seth wins, right? Seth wins, what is it really going to do? After you do his stupid Disney sing-along, okay, we get it, right? After you do his little Pirates of the Caribbean sing-along, whatever it is, it's going to be the same booking and the same Sethington character that a lot of us don't know what it is. Even Sethington is still trying to find out what his character is. Maybe he just goes back to that old architect type, shield type Seth, right? Maybe just drop all the rest and just be badass. I don't know. But this half and half sing-along Seth, man, it's going to get old quick. For BC, I get nauseous on the sing-along. I have to mute it. Yeah, and I'm not even trying to play her. I like Seth Rollins, guys. I'm being as honest as I can. The sing-along makes me nauseous. I don't know what it is. Right? Some of us just get nauseous on things. Maybe for some of you guys, it's anchovies on pizza and it gets you nauseous. Pot pies. You ever have a pot pie? Maybe that gets you fucking egg rolls, right? I don't know. Maybe seeing a lot of visuals, right? Maybe spark something in your dome piece that you just can't get you nauseous. Maybe long car rides or staring at your phone for too long while you're on a car ride. For BC, what gets me really nauseous is Seth Rollins' sing-along, because we just stay on the fans for 10 minutes doing this like zombies, like mindless zombies. I start to twitch. I get nauseous. So anyway, the point is, when the music fucking ends and you get the same booking with the same Sethington, how is this going to be different? I'm just asking. How is this going to be different than the booking they gave him with the U.S. title last year? Honest question, right? Even if you don't like BC, right? I hate BC, but I watch all of his videos. Yeah, that makes sense. But even if you don't like me supposedly, The question is valid, right? The question is at least valid. Remember his U.S. title reigns, more than one, by the way, last year, and the whole Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley shindig. Nothing happened from that. Nobody cared. The booking sucked. The title reign was just, it was like, take it or leave it status. Amplified. Take it or leave it. Because any one of us could take it or leave it. It didn't matter. So now the only difference is he has a sing-along. And everyone says he's super over because of his sing-along. All right. If Sethington gets the title, it's not about deserving it or that he's earned it. Of course. And he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. We get it. But you had the United States title experiment last year, and it did nothing. Now you're giving him the world title, and we're supposed to give a shit because we get to sing while he now has a title? I'm just asking questions, guys. If you think this is going to lead to epic matches and booking, I don't know how this is going to be a different Sethington than we got previous. But he's in this, as he should be. Cody Rhodes. Oh, Cody's going for the consolation prize because he could not supposedly get the job done at WrestleMania against Roman because he had to face more adversity and he had to struggle more and he has to earn it, BC. This is what I was told from people that know what they're talking about in wrestling. Okay. All right. How's that working out for everybody? Have you seen Roman since? No. He'll show up on Friday, do a little thing, raise the tension with the Usos in Solo, and then he'll be gone again for a few weeks. Sipping those martinis. Good for him, by the way. No shade. If you can negotiate that contract and you're getting that type of shine and love from your company, rock that shit out. Screw everybody else. So Cody Rhodes, and everyone goes, or some people go, well, basically that's the title that he always wanted, man. The gold title. The title his father couldn't win, right? Guys, it's a different title. This isn't the Winged Eagle title. This isn't the WWF titles from the past. This isn't no NWA title from the past. This is a championship created because they want Roman to beat Hulk Hogan's 1,474-day title reign. So you're going to have Roman as champion for the next year plus. So they created a fucking title. This isn't the Dusty the title that Dusty was going for. This isn't the title that Cody originally wanted. This is a title created out of thin air. Like governments will create money when they're in debt. Oh shit, we are so much in debt. Let's print more money. This is what WWE just did. Oh shit, we're in debt with Roman. Not money-wise, but title-wise is being held hostage. Let's create a whole new title. And Cody can get the what? The runners-up championship, the participation trophy. You know what sucks about this is damned if you do, damned if you don't. Neither one of these works. It's never going to get the moment, the reaction, the lightning in a bottle that you had on Sunday, April 2nd at WrestleMania Night 2. If Cody wins this runners-up participation trophy championship, it is not going to equal anything comparable to what could have been Sunday, April 2nd against Roman. And if he defeats Roman in the future, SummerSlam in a few months, next year at Mania, in 2052... if he ever beats Roman in the future, which I don't think is where they're going anyway, or they'll revisit it in a year maybe, and then they'll go back to it. But if he ever does, you'll never get that moment back that you had at Mania. That's what sucks about all this. You'll never end up getting that back. And Roman just walked away anyway for a month and a half. Roman's not going to be taking on anybody in the near future. It's sad that was such a massive botch at WrestleMania that it sent botched shockwaves throughout the wrestling world. Because the wrestling world has never been the same since. Something happened on that night when that decision was made, and nothing seems right, man. And it seems like every brand, every company is just off. But Cody Rhodes is in this thing. Does he win it, guys? Does Sethington win it? Does that really fucking matter? Does Cody win it? Is that really going to make up for what happened at WrestleMania? Really? Let's keep going with this list, because this is where it gets a little odd. The Miz! The Miz is in this 12 names participating in this tournament. 4 triple threat matches spread out between 2 brands this week. The Miz. The Miz. Now, You guys and if you don't know, then that's why I'm here, right? I do my due diligence. I do my research for you guys. I have the numbers. I'm a big numbers guy, statistics, metrics. I love that shit. That's why ratings matter to PC. And you're going to find out later in this podcast how much they mean to Paul Levesque, Schnoz McGee, Mr. Pinocchio. But as a numbers guy, I'll tell you this. Miz is 2 wins out of his last 25 matches, guys. 2 wins out of 25. He's 6 wins out of 50, and the only reason he's got 4 of those 6 wins is because of Tommaso Ciampa. That's when they were a little bit of a team. Tommaso led him to victory. So 2 out of 25, 6 out of 50, 4 of those with Tommaso. How does that earn him a world title shot? Or to be even in the conversation? I mean, if you look at the roster, BC can pretty much, even though everybody, it seems, is 50-50 booked, and it seems that way because they are, I could still come up with a lot of names that would be above Miz. So obviously he's in there to take an L, you would think. But still, it doesn't make sense, and that's all we're asking you to do. I mean, none of this makes sense anyway. Why SmackDown is involved. If a SmackDown guy wins, he gets transferred back to Raw if he was on Raw, or he goes to Raw no matter what. Then what was the point of the brand split, the draft? If you're still mixing people up. And how is that fair to Raw? None of this makes sense. And then you have The Miz in there. So the point is that things continue to just not make sense. And there's people that go, just enjoy the product. Just watch it or don't watch. No, I think we're going to choose plan C. And we're going to absolutely watch, demand logic and common sense. We're going to voice out our displeasure, and we're going to demand better. We're going to demand that the company raises their standards. We're going to demand that if you don't like it, don't watch it. That fan, we're going to demand that they raise their standards. Yeah, we're going to choose option C. We're not just going to watch it. We're not going to not watch it if we don't like it. We're going to choose option C. We're going to watch it. We're going to bitch, moan, complain, rant, and make it better. I like option C. Miz is in this tournament. Sheamus. Now Sheamus, we all like Sheamus, right? Everyone likes Sheamus. He's in this. Now, he's just one of those names, like I said, where, okay, if he's in it, it opens up the conversation. When you see the name Sheamus, you start asking, well, then why isn't this guy in it? Why isn't he in it? Wait, why are these two not in it if Sheamus is in it? Sheamus is one of those that just opens up Pandora's box of names that it's like, are we really just throwing baloney at the wall? Fucking lunch meat at the wall, and wherever it sticks to a name, that's who we're going to add. Because that's what it seems. You look at Edge. We all love Edge. Edge is part-time, if that makes sense. He's a part-timer. That's how often you see Edge. And Edge just gets thrown into this thing. How did he leapfrog everybody busted their ass? I mean, what's the qualifications? Legend? So he's in there? Shinsuke Nakamura has been out for months. He just got back 2 weeks ago. Just got back. Got a victory over Karrion Kross. Great for him. Not so good for Karrion. And he's just thrown into this thing. Gone for months, come back, thrown into a title opportunity. World title. Not even mid. This guy didn't even go for the mid-card title yet. Pinocchio, Schnoz McGee Levesque is just throwing him into the world title picture. I love Shinsuke. I know most of you guys do. Come on. Like, what are we doing? I would love some transparency. How did we come up with these names? Right? Even if you do it on WWE.com. Put Pinocchio in front of a camera for like 15 minutes and just have him explain. And then it's our choice to go and watch that or not. Rey Mysterio. Okay, Mysterio got a big win at WrestleMania, and then he's pretty much 50-50 booked after that. Lost to Dominic on Friday, I believe, or 2 Fridays. I forget. I don't know. These shows mesh together now with the 50-50 booking. But okay, Rey Mysterio has had a pretty big several months, especially. A Hall of Famer. I have no problem with that name. Finn Balor. Okay. Finn Balor in this thing. I am okay with that. See, now you start to think, there's some big names in here that, like, how are you going to make them lose? And not everyone can win this thing. got to be careful with this, man. You can't have nonsensical defeats. AJ Styles, another name that we love him. We love him. We want to see him in main events. We want to see the old school AJ Styles, not the one that's been holding the hand of Omos for a year and a half and then just getting beat up by the Judgment Day for the second part of the second year. So for 2 years before he got injured, AJ Styles has been pretty irrelevant. We want to see the old school main event AJ Styles. But the dude just got back from injury like Shinsuke a week or two ago. That's it. Just a couple weeks. How is he just thrusted into the world that he hasn't even gone for the mid-card title yet? Just thrown in there. Bobby Lashley can't buy a fucking victory. Bobby Lashley just lost again in a triple threat in Puerto Rico at Backlash. Of course, we want the best for him, but it's clear Bobby Lashley is in this thing to take another fucking L. Then why put him in there? Austin Theory. Austin Theory is another name in this. Austin Theory is the current United States champion. This doesn't make sense because why wouldn't Gunther be in there? Why would the U.S. title holder get a chance at the world title, but Gunther wouldn't? Like, how does this make sense to you guys? And you don't ask the question. Or you say, yeah, that is funny, BC. Oh, well, going to play in the street, going to play in traffic. No, man. This should not be oh, you're right, BC. Let me go twiddle my thumbs, though. I don't know what's happening, but I don't really care. Levesque knows what he's doing. No, he doesn't. And he hasn't. You can't throw in a champion Austin Theory and then just not throw in your IC champion. In fact, Gunther has been champion longer and is way more prestigious. And he wouldn't even get a shot. And if Lashley is in this thing, then why wouldn't Bronson be in it? Well, BC, Bronson actually took the pin at Backlash. Lashley didn't, so it makes sense. But what do you mean Bronson took the pin so he can't compete for? Miz is 2 for 25. 6 of his last 50 matches. 6. 4 of them because of Tommaso. 2 wins in his last 25. He has eaten L's 23 times out of his last 25. So now all of a sudden, the criteria, the prerequisite to get into this stupid ass BS tournament is you can't get pinned? Bye-bye Miz. Bye-bye Lash. I've seen Lashley get pinned left and right. Rey Mysterio's been 50-50 booked before and after Mania. This is such a mishmash of names with no explanation, and that's what this company does. They don't explain anything. They just threw 12 names out at us. Wherever they threw the dart, wherever they threw the lunch meat, and whatever name it landed on, whatever name they pulled out of the hat or the egg basket, they're just like, oh, Edge. Well, Edge makes sense. He's a legend. Of course he should be in it. Yeah, but he never wrestles. I mean, is he even going to show up the Monday after Puerto Rico's Backlash? Well, I don't think so, but we can make a phone call and see if he'll show up. I mean, I pulled the name out of the hat and it says Edge. He's got to show up. Just pull another name. I'll try to get Edge. Okay. Miz. Wait, Miz is going to be going for the world title? Miz is... Well, I mean, that's the name I picked out. All right, then I guess Miz has to be in it. Pick another one. Austin Theory, but he's the U.S. champion. But I picked the name out of the hat. I threw the piece of baloney and it landed on Austin Theory. But what about Gunther? Maybe the fans won't ask about it. Maybe the fans won't even realize it. It's so fucking weird. Shinsuke. People love Shinsuke. Yeah, but he just got back from injury. He's at a match. Yeah, but maybe the fans won't care. Won't care about what? Common sense and logic? Yeah, maybe a lot of us will care about that. Such a weird 12 names. Starting tonight, 2 triple threats, which means 4 out of those 6 participants tonight, 4 are going to have to take the L and lose. 2 out of the 4 actually have to take the pinfall, or however they're going to lose. 4 are going to lose. 2 are actually going to have to take the L. And then when the 2 finalists meet later, one of them have to take it. So 3 of them are not even going to get the title opportunity. I hope they have creative booking for tonight. I hope some of these losses, there's reasoning and story behind it that's going to protect the ones taking L's. because we're taking inventory of these L's, guys. A weird setup. This is such a weird way to come up with a champion. It's odd to even come up with this fucking championship. That's what we got for you, man. That's BC's rundown of the 12 names. You wanted my thoughts on them. There you go. And if it wasn't, if Schnoz McGee, Pinocchio Levesque, if it wasn't, if he wasn't being questioned by everything and everybody lately, anybody, anything under the sun, this guy has taken a lot of heat for his decision making. And again, if you want to blame Vince McMahon, you still have to blame this dude, because I mean, he's going out there and just spewing out all the shit that Vince is telling him to, if that was the case. But Nick Khan sent another email to everybody recently. Nick Khan saying that, no, I don't know what everybody is talking about. Paul Levesque is the chief creative officer. He is literally controlling all of creative. So again, if all of this is being put on you, bro, you got to take the heat. You can't just have the title make millions of dollars and go, well, I'm not, my hands are tied. No, stop. This is going to come right down on Paul Levesque's shoulders until he steps the fuck up. You know what it's coming down to, guys? It's coming down to a lot of this, a lot of the shit you were seeing that is awful and bad decision making. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. A lot of this is now. I'm not saying Vince is off the hook. Of course, Vince has lost it years ago. But Paul Levesque is producing really shitty television. Really bad creative. A lot lately. We started to see that during the last of his NXT days. We started to see him kind of lose it. And he kind of lost the rhythm. The train started going off the tracks, started getting derailed. Paul Levesque did not know how to put the train back on the tracks. He couldn't get it straight again. He started to unravel, get his ass whooped by Tony Khan and AEW, to the point where he had a heart issue, had to be bedridden. And we started to, I mean, at least he admits he cannot get the third hour of Raw. He starts to lose it at that point, and it derails the whole show. And then he's got to go and be creative for 2 hours on SmackDown. It's clear that he's overwhelmed. But if you were wondering, right, it's not just the tournament where Paul Levesque is taking a lot of heat for how he conducted this whole BS title situation and BS way to go about crowning the champion. That's not the only heat. Recently, and you ever want to know how much these promoters care about, and these people in charge care about ratings, look at what Tony Khan does every Thursday morning. If they come across 1 million plus viewers, which has been the longest time, they just don't come anywhere near that anymore. This past week, 767,000 viewers, just horrendous. And it's bigger than just NBA competition. They have lost half their audience since they debuted a little less than 5 years ago. It's not good to lose half of your audience. That's more than NBA games, guys. That's something that consistently has been happening over the years. They lost half of their audience. But Tony Khan, whenever he does get 1 million plus, he is the first one bragging about it seconds after the number comes out, because he is watching those numbers the second they come out on Thursday morning / afternoon. If you ever wondered what Paul Levesque is doing, right? Seeing if his creativity is landing with the audience. Recently, a fan wrote this on social media, and I quote, this is a fan talking about ratings. Dude, if they're doing so poorly, meaning AEW, by the way, why did Warner just give them another show? TV ratings are an outdated, and I don't know what platform this was, who this was. I think this was just to another fan. So he's kind of defending AEW, WWE. He's kind of just like, he's saying that the ratings don't matter, which I'm going to debunk that in a second. That's why these promoters are so vividly watching ratings. But he says, dude, if they're doing so poorly, why did Warner just give them another show? TV ratings are an outdated way to view popularity. In today's world of cord cutting, WWE has less than half of what they got 10 years ago, but they are more profitable than ever before, or than ever. End quote. And Triple H liked that post by accident, because seconds later it was de-liked. He took it. He's like, oh shit, Butterfingers accidentally slipped on that. So obviously he came across this and was scrolling by. and he smashed the like by accident, so he had to take that shit back. And it was too late, but by then it was already screenshotted. People have already picked up on it. But that's why he's reading stuff that is being said about the ratings, guys. Just like Tony Khan is the first one to see the ratings when they come out. So the fans like this guy, he can claim that ratings don't matter, but they're the absolute and the only way that we can detect audience and interest. It has nothing to do with popularity. That's where this guy gets it twisted. TV ratings are an outdated way to view popularity. Find a better way, Jack. There's no better way. The only way to find out how many fans you have left is by who is spending the time to go live and watch the product. It's the most accurate we can do. Find a better way and we'll switch to that way. But he says an outdated way to view popularity. This isn't about popularity. It's about must-see TV. This guy says WWE has less than half of what they got 10 years ago, but are more profitable than ever before. Did you ever ask yourself how that happened? How did they get more profitable than ever before in recent years? Saudi Arabia gives them $50+ million a show, and they go there twice a year. That is over $100 million every single year. 10 years in a row, you just got yourself $1 billion. Did you ever see what Fox gave them for SmackDown? $1 billion. Pretty sure 10 years ago, they weren't getting billion-dollar deals, not even half. You ever see what the USA Network, NBC, Universal, Comcast is giving them for the Monday Night Raw rights? This is what they've done. They've liquidated the last 10 years. And this person gave the number. WWE has less than half of what they got 10 years ago. He put the number 10 years up, but are more profitable than ever. Isn't it ironic that in the last 10 years is when they started the process of liquidating their assets? Not in a traditional sense, like going out of business and liquidating their assets, but absolutely liquidating everything that they've built. They stopped caring, they stopped putting in the effort, and they just started to rest on their laurels, rest on everything they've built. After all of those decades, Vince McMahon, the old bastard in Stanford, took a step back and said, all right, I built this, we're ready to cash in. And he put the right people around him, had the right group of ass kissers. He put in Nick Khan, the money guy. He had other CEOs come and join him from other properties, companies, conglomerates, and they started to put a plan in place, the better part of the last 10, especially the last 5, to liquidate the business and really cash in on it. And that's how they got all these big deals. That's where Vince McMahon and everybody's mind is right now, liquidating, getting the most bang out of their buck that they've built for decades. Good for them, not for the fans. It's not a better product. And that's where the numbers come in. It's not just cord cutting or streaming services. You have to ask yourself, why are so many fans okay with just watching highlights the next day? That should be unacceptable. Why are so many fans? I have so many amplified unit members that say, BC, I don't even watch the shows anymore. I just listen to you. If you really are raving about something awesome, I'll go back and watch. If you trash it or rip it apart for justified reasons, I know that I didn't miss a thing and I did a good thing by not watching. The fact that fans don't have FOMO anymore, fear of missing out, and they can consistently miss out on a shows, weeks, and even months, once in a while come back and see what's going on. That's called a lapsed fan or a casual fan. That's not good. When you are pulling 7 million viewers and you are now barely trying to scrap by 1.7, that's more than cord cutting or streaming services. Highlights the next day. You now have fans that no longer are interested in the product. That's the problem. You can look at the big shows. Wembley, for instance, for AEW. 60,000 tickets, and people go, business is booming. Like we talked about earlier, Tony Khan himself will tell you, because he's already told you 36 times, AEW is still not profitable yet. And even after this show, if you think that's going to make 2023 profitable in and of itself, you are wrong. It's because the interest is so low. So AEW takes a hit in every other area. You have to ask yourself, if business is booming and the numbers don't matter, then why is Tony Khan's AEW not profitable after nearly 5 years with the business they've been conducting? It's because there's not enough fans. Dynamite just pulled in 767,000 fans for viewership on their flagship show. 767. How is that? It doesn't. You got 60,000 for Wembley because it's your first time in the UK. That is awesome. But what about there? WWE, same thing. Okay, they're pulling all these, $1 billion from Saudi Arabia, $1 billion from Fox, over $500 million from USA Network, NBC, Universal, Comcast, and then you look at their live events. Look at all the tarps. Why are they not even coming close to selling out live events when back in the day you could sell out 2 in one day? There used to be a daytime live event and a nighttime. And now you can't even you can't even come close. Why are there so many tarps now more than ever? Where are the fans? TV is not getting Raws and SmackDowns are not getting legit sellouts more than they are. Why? Back in the day, they were legit selling out. Don't act like they did not lose millions of viewers. They did. Don't act like ratings don't fucking matter. If they don't matter to you, that's different. But don't act like they are not the metric to find out who's watching your show, how, why, when during an NBA commercial break did they switch over to your show. All of this matters. It shows fan interest. Fan interest. And if you don't think so, why is Tony Khan the first one to look at the ratings on Thursday morning? Why is Paul Levesque scrolling through ratings conversation, accidentally liking it and having to fucking take it away and hoping nobody saw you like it? No. Why is this happening? Why are the top people in these companies viewing ratings? Because they know it fucking matters. They want to see if their show is pulling in interest. You cannot rest that fans are okay with just watching highlights the next day. You have to give them a reason to watch live. They don't give a fuck how you get it, but on that big screen, you best be watching live. It's more than cord cutting. You have to tell them must-see TV. Is it, or is it must-miss TV? The ratings matter, man. And this was just another example. Paul Levesque scrolling through ratings talk, seeing what people are saying about his shows and being defensive about ratings. It's the only metric we have. NFL's up 10% the past 2 years. 10% 2 years ago, 10% this year. Why are more people watching the NFL on cable? In general, even. Amazon Prime saw an uptick because they brought NFL over to Amazon Prime. Right? The NFL is bringing people there, right? It's because the product has drawn people to it. It got more and more popular because they did business correctly. WWE has seen a decline in the viewership. And you ask yourself, well, why? Because they're not bringing people to watch the show on cable. There's a shit of people that are legitimately ordering fucking cable the right way, giving their cable provider actual fucking money for the USA Network, and they're just not watching Raw. That's the point. There's all these excuses. Highlights the next day. Cord cut. Okay, we'll give you millions of viewers doing that. How's that? Deal? I'll give you, right, they used to pull 7 million. They're trying to scratch through 1.7 these days. So what do you want? You want me to give you 5 million viewers into the category of cord cutting and 5 million? That's fucking stupid. But even if I did that, That would at least be pulling in Raw 2-2-2-3 now, right? Because they were just over 7 many a times back in the day. So even if I give you 5 million viewers are watching in some other type of way, you're telling me that Raw should at the bare minimum be pulling in 2-2, 2-3, 2-4? They can't even get 1-7 half the weeks. I'm just breaking down the numbers. Ratings don't matter my ass. No, you just can't comprehend the numbers. You don't want to believe that wrestling is not as big. And it's not just popularity. It's interest. It doesn't matter if you're popular or not. Is it interesting? You can hate something and still watch it because it's interesting. People can claim they don't like BC, but they're captivated by every video, every stream, every podcast because I'm captivating. I'm interesting. I hate that BC, but I'm going to watch every single vid. I'm going to listen to every podcast. Timmy, if you don't like them, why are you listening to every podcast? Shut up, Jerry! You know, if it's interesting, people are going to watch. If you think 1.7 is good for a Monday Night Raw and you're just going to go, well, I mean, people are watching in different ways. The business is there, man. Look what they're doing in the stadiums. They're pulling in record revenue. Look at how they're making the revenue. If you take the billion-dollar deals away that Vince has liquidated, good for him business-wise, by the way, you take those deals away, they're not pulling in that. It's just the truth. They're not. Without that $2.5 billion from just the 3 things I mentioned, they're not. And to prove it, look at AEW, the second biggest promotion, statewide anyway. They haven't even, after 5 years nearly, they're still not even recording profit. That tells you everything you need to know. After everything Tony Khan has done over the last 5 years, or not done, whatever, but they're not even recording profit. NXT never recorded a profit. Never. And they've been around years longer than AEW. So, I mean, if business is booming, why is everybody not so profitable? This guy said they're more profitable than ever before, and their audience is supposedly cut in half, lower than half of what they had 10 years ago. Well, if that's the metric we're going by, profitability is determining the popularity of pro wrestling, then why isn't everybody else making a profit? Make it make sense. Come on, guys. I know you got 140 characters. That doesn't mean you be stupid. The world doesn't need more stupidity. It needs smart people saying smart shit. I thought that was a funny story, man. Paul Levesque going through ratings talk. But ratings don't matter. You got it. And if you want to keep it a little bit funny, man, listen to this. This is all in good fun. Recently, Rhea Ripley took a picture with Dominic Mysterio, and it was the ass of Rhea, right? So it's them, but Rhea's like turned around. She's kind of looking back to the camera, and you can see her wardrobe, her wrestling gear, and on her ass cheeks it says Dom Dom. Dom Dom. So Rhea posts this with the caption, always bringing Poppy with me. Always bringing Poppy with me. And Buddy Murphy, whatever you want to go by that, Buddy Matthews, House of Black, AEW talent, former Buddy, what the fuck was he? But what'd I just say? Buddy Murphy. I don't know what the fuck. Fucking Buddy! This is the real-life boyfriend of Rhea Ripley, guys. They're actually in a relationship. Rhea Ripley, WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. About to be Raw Women's Champion tonight, I believe. They're going to do a title swap. And Buddy Matthews from AEW. So they're in a real-life relationship. So Rhea posts this thing with the Dominic, and it says Dom Dom on her ass. And Dominic's in the photo, like, pointing at her ass. Like, his hand is by her ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, like Dom Dom, and his hand is, like, showing where, almost like grabbing it. But he's not. So Buddy responds, and Buddy says, he might be written on ya, but I get to touch it. With a tongue out emoji. So Buddy says he might be written on ya, but I get to touch it, meaning her ass. Rhea Ripley responds with a skull emoji and a laughing hysterical emoji, man. So it's all in good fun. Obviously, this is not the first time that Buddy has responded to Dominic Mysterio. He has sent some zingers over to him before. Just put him in his place. Like, don't forget who the real Poppy is here. So badass, man. I thought that would be a funny way to kind of end the podcast, guys. I know we're getting to that hour-long mark. Oh, no. Please, no. Oh, no. One of the dumbest guys in professional wrestling. His name is Bubba Ray Dudley. Bully Ray. Bully Ray just said something pretty fucking stupid, I believe. Bully Ray responded to a tweet from WWE who was asking who should be the first world champion that's about to be crowned. And what did the fucking guy say? He said, and I quote, this is Bubba Ray's quote, who should be the first champion? Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, Dudley says, and I quote, the only correct answer is Roman Reigns. Wait, so he wants him to be Roman 3 belts. We think that those 2 belts would be condensed into one title, by the way. So then he would be Roman 2 belts. But it's 3 belts for now. I mean, is this guy... I hope that's a joke. Does Bubba, who has said some of the dumbest things, he's got some of the dumbest takes I've heard in pro wrestling in years. Is he serious when he says Roman Reigns should become the fucking champion? Like he's not holding the other 2 titles hostage for the last 3.5 years? And he's gonna for the next year plus to get Hulk Hogan's record? What is this guy talking? I tried to end the podcast on a you know what I tried to do? I tried to end the podcast on a lighthearted, fun note with some joking, right? With Buddy and Rhea and Dom Dom. And is seriously what we gotta do? Are we serious here, man? I can't even believe that. I just read it again. That's what it says here, man. This literally just... I just got word of this. Good friend of mine sent that over to me with a big LOL. I was like, what is it? And it's a story about Bubba Ray saying that Roman Reigns should win that championship. I don't even... guys... I'm going to end the podcast there so we can collectively throw dome pieces into a brick wall. No, Roman Reigns should not be winning this fucking chip. Fuck! And that's what sucks. You got people like Bubba, who's got big audiences because he was in WWE and he's been in the industry. He knows what he's talking about. And they develop these audiences and they spew this type of shit. And that's why wrestling can never really get better, man. This is the type of shit that we get. Well, BC doesn't need to be in WWE or in these big companies to know what he's talking about. I've been vividly dissecting pro wrestling since I was a little BC. I've been in that ring. I took those bumps. I got friends traveling the world, busting their ass and breaking their backs for this industry. I've been in those locker rooms more times than you know. I talk to people in those locker rooms more times than you know. And I'm talking AEW and WWE. So, no, BC doesn't have to be in there on the day-to-day. I know exactly what is right from wrong, good from bad. That ain't it, Bubba. I really hope that's a joke. I mean, because that is... No. Roman should not be winning that title. Guys, I hope you enjoyed Monday, May 8th's Amped Up podcast with BC Amplified. I, of course, am your host, BC Amplified. And until next time, and there will be... a next time. Check you later. Check you guys, man. Top guy, I'm out. Amp unit, we the ones. The rest, far distant twos. Check you.